Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Karin Maya Rubinstein, and I'm the CEO of the IATI, the Israel Advanced Technology Industries, which is Israel's largest umbrella organization for all the high-tech industries. We'll start with a short clip of 90 seconds. Try to be focused and identify the various technologies and innovation in the clip. They were all developed in Israel. Everything that you will see here were developed in Israel. Just 1 second. Can you put the clip on, please? Okay. We need some volume, please.
You engineer them to have limitless creativity. You plant them in soil designed to nourish them. They yield fruits of endless new inventions.
Okay, okay. Let's start, but first of all, I need to ask you a few questions. First of all, who visited in Israel at least one time? Oh, lots of you. Okay, how many of you are under 30? I thought most of you are under 30. So how many of you are under 20? Okay. And one more question. How many are you here are entrepreneurs or try to be entrepreneurs? Okay, I think I got the picture. Let's start, okay? A little bit about what's going on in Israel, about the high tech, about the numbers, and about why it happened in Israel, this phenomena of the innovation. So, as you see, in Israel, we are a very small country. To the ones who don't know, we are only 8 million people, and actually, it's like almost like in Hungary. But pay attention to the area. In Israel is only 20,000 square kilometers, and Hungary is 4 times of Israel. The GDP per capita in Israel is one of the highest in the world, $36,000. If I compare it to Hungary, it's around 13,000. So in Israel, we have around 5,000 startups, high-tech and life science. And by the way, when I say high-tech, I include also life science, pharmaceutical, medical device, food tech, agro-tech, clean tech, etc. And it's the highest number around the world. In Israel, there are more startups per capita than in any other place in the world outside of the United States. I'm just giving you some idea about what's going on in Israel. 15% of the GDP in Israel is derived from the high-tech industry, and actually it's the highest contributor to the GDP growth. Now, this is an amazing figure. Almost 50% of Israel industrial export is derived from the high-tech industry, almost 50%. So there is a good side of it and there is a bad side of it. The good side of it, that we are on track, of course. The bad side of it is that we have to keep on going and fast in order to keep it, because most of the industrial export in Israel comes from the high-tech. Tel Aviv, just now, like a few months ago, was awarded title of World's Smartest City for 2014, and there were 250 cities that competed in this competition, and Tel Aviv won #1. Now, as you know, Tel Aviv is not the capital of Israel. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, but Tel Aviv is the business capital and the high-tech capital of Israel, of course. If we're talking about number of IPOs in NASDAQ, you know, we have few stock exchange in the United States. We have the New York Stock Exchange, we have the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ are considered to be the leading one for high-tech companies. So more than 100 Israeli tech companies are listed on NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and of course the American Exchange. And we are coming after China and the United States. Now, you will see later on that only in 2014, 19 companies in Israel went to an IPO, to an initial public offering in NASDAQ. And another amazing thing is 10% of the offerings, of the IPOs in NASDAQ in 2014 were by Israeli companies, 10%. A few other interesting things. There are 250,000 employees in Israel in the high-tech sector, 10% of the total employment in Israel. And of course, 6 Israeli in the last 10 years, in the last decade, have been awarded Nobel Prize in the fields of economic and chemistry. And if we're talking about the last 15 years, so we're talking about 8 Israeli who won this award. Israel has the highest ratio of scientists and technicians per 10,000 workers. Are there any engineers here in the crowd? Any engineers? How many of you went to a second degree, not just first degree? Okay. Okay, now, this is like a very updated information, actually from this week. Okay, look at these amazing figures. 99 Israeli high-tech exit totaled almost $7 billion were in 2014. So we had exit of almost 100 companies in the amount of $7 billion only in 2014. And I'm not talking about IPOs. I'm talking only about M&As, about mergers and acquisitions. By the way, out of them, we have $800 million of life science companies who went to exits. Companies raised money. More than $3.4 billion were raised during 2014. I think we are talking about almost 700 companies in Israel which raised money from Israeli resources and foreign resources. And we will see later on, mostly from foreign resources, not Israeli ones. And as I said, 19 IPOs in 2014 in the amount of $2 billion. Among them, 8 IPOs in life science. So this is the diagram. You can see what I talked about. By the way, if you have any question, please stop me, interrupt, no problem. We are used to it in Israel. We are not so organized like in Budapest and in Hungary. So just stop me, ask questions. Even don't raise your hand, just ask me anything you want. If we're talking about VC-backed company exit, when I'm talking about VC-backed, I'm talking about company who raised money from VC funds. So as you can see, it's like half-half in 2014. Half of the company raised money from Israeli company. Half of the company raised money from not a VC-backed funds. We are still in exits, okay? Let's talk about on the exit for a minute. So we can see that still the IT and the enterprise software and the internet are the leaders in exits in Israel for 2014. We have some life science, we have communication and others, but still IT and internet, as we call it, the ICT, the information communication technology, are still the leaders in exit in Israel. I hope and I'm sure that most of you know about these landmark deals of the three last years. We are talking about Google, who acquired Waze. Everybody knows about Waze? Everybody knows about Waze. For $1.3 billion, the GPS navigation system. We are talking about Objet, an Israeli company, the 3D printer that were acquired by Stratasys. Mobileye, it's the biggest story of 2014. Went to an IPO in NASDAQ, the valuation of $7.6 billion. And Argo WeWalk, it's like a device that you put on the leg for crippled people who cannot walk, and then they just stand up and start to walk. Went also to a very successful IPO in the NASDAQ. And if you just look at the top 10 exits in 2014, and I'm talking about Israel only. Okay, so Mobileye, as I say, it's a big story. You know, it's just a device for the car. So it went really well. But if you can identify the companies here, the acquiring one, sorry, you can see very interesting thing. You can see companies from China who entered the market really strong, and actually China now, and in the last 2 or 3 years, going very strong on Israeli companies. But you can see also Viber, and you know, I think most of you know Viber. It's an Israeli company who were acquired by a Japanese company. So not just American companies, not just European, Asia went to the market really strong now. Let's leave for a minute the exit and let's go to the capital raising. We can see, as I said, look at the numbers, it's exactly what I said. More than $3.4 billion has been raised in Israel for Israeli companies, and you can add the numbers, around 700 companies raised money. Not 2, not 10, not 30, not 50, 700 Israeli companies raised money during 2014. And by the way, the average size of a deal in Israel in 2014 was around $8 million for a deal. Let's see the investment in Israel startups. Let's see the VC now. This is a very, very interesting slide. Try to understand. A lot is going on in Israel, but most of the money for Israeli company was raised by foreign investors, not Israeli. Only 17% Israeli investors. Most of the investors, 83%, are foreign investors. Now, another issue if you're talking about the 17%, and look at the 2014, if you're talking about the 70% of Israeli investors, among them, you know, it's most of them are VC funds, of course, so among them, most of the money in those VC funds come from also from foreign investors. So I can say, roughly, that less than 5% of the money raised in Israel for Israeli company, less than 5% is Israeli money. And this money, this foreign money, doesn't go to Israel because it's Israel. It goes to Israel because you can find real innovation there, and real disruptive technologies there, and good companies there. And if those investors will find these companies here in Budapest, in Hungary, or other places in the world, they will invest. Those investors, most of them, don't care where do they invest. They only look on the profit and the ROI. So there is a lot of money in the world waiting to be invested. Just look at the sectors again. The money which was raised, like the exit, it's in ICT. The stage, early stage, and medium stage, and mid stage, were most of the company that raised the money. Not the late stage companies. So most of you know the Startup Nation book, and you heard about the expression, the Startup Nation. Actually, I cannot say it anymore. This book was written almost 10 years ago, and actually, I don't believe in the Startup Nation anymore. I truly believe in the Innovation Nation, and actually, and in the Disruptive Nation. And actually, I'm trying, you know, to amuse myself. I'm trying to play games, you know, when I'm sitting in so many meetings in Israel and abroad. So every time I sit in a meeting, I'm counting how many times people in the meeting say innovation. So I swear I hear at least 20 times every meeting, people say innovation, innovation, disruptive, innovation, disruptive, innovation. Now, I'm not sure a lot of people know what is innovation. And I can tell you that innovation is all about added value and creating impact. Added value and creating impact. This is innovation. Now, if we will talk for a minute about added value and creating impact and disruptive technology, who can tell me one company who had disruptive technology and did it big time in the world? Okay, so I will tell you, okay? Let's count few, okay? Let's talk about Waze. Before Waze, there were mostly maps, books of maps, that if you want to travel from here to there, you use the maps, okay? Waze changed it all. Let's talk about Facebook. Let's talk about WhatsApp. What was before WhatsApp? Try to understand what was before WhatsApp. Was the text message, the SMS. So WhatsApp had disruptive technology who changed the world. Few things about the multinationals in Israel. And I'm not sure a lot of you know about it, and I think you will be very surprised. There are more than 250 multinational companies in Israel, and actually it's the largest. Israel has the largest number of multinationals in the world outside of the United States. Apple recently opened its R&D center. First R&D center in the world outside of Cupertino was opened in Israel. 50% of the 250,000 employees in the high-tech in Israel are employed by the multinationals. I'm just look about the creativity that we talked about. All of those were developed in Israel. The 3D printers, voicemail, flash memory, disk on key, firewall, antivirus, Waze. And I'm talking about giving imaging, of course, and the stand, and the Argo Rewalk, etc. I know that I will take 2 minutes of time because I'm last, so I can do whatever I want. Will tell you about the IATI. The IATI, as I said, is the largest umbrella organization for the high-tech and life science industry. We are a non-profit organization. We provide a lot of business development and creating business opportunities for the ecosystem. The ecosystem include the multinational, the VC funds, the startup, the entrepreneurs, the incubators, the accelerators, and the academia. So this is the ecosystem that I'm talking about, and you have the same ecosystem here, maybe smaller, but the same. And most important, I will not talk about the goals, but most important, why it happened in Israel, why this phenomena, why Israel is so successful in high-tech. So you can read it, okay? You take like a photo of it. I will tell you a few reasons that I think they are the most important, because no one knows the answers. Okay, but everybody is talking about the army. Yes, I did the army. All girls in Israel do the army. All boys do the army. Yeah, we are getting very strong from the army. A lot of technological ideas in the army. So the army and the military experience is the first reason, but not the main reason. I think it's because of the DNA. I think because Israel, because of its geopolitical threat, leads to high awareness. We are always in high awareness. We don't sleep so well. We have very nice and not so friendly neighbors around us. So we are always on high awareness. And this high awareness leads to innovation, to thinking all the time. We are not resting. We are not afraid to fail. In Japan, you are afraid to fail. If you fail, you cut the head. In Israel, you can fail and start all over again, and it's okay. So look at those reasons. There are many reasons. We like entrepreneurs in Israel. They are the new social heroes in Israel. No more doctors, no more lawyers, no more accountants. Let's go and be entrepreneurs and trying to invent the new idea, the next things. And yes, we have very strong banking system, legal system, accounting system that help to build this ecosystem. Again, my email is this one. I have also a business card here. I love Budapest. It's not my first time in Budapest. I like the design terminal. And if you have any question, any ideas, if you want to come to Israel and you want to meet people, you want to meet entrepreneurs, you want to meet investments, please email me, text me, whatever you want, and I will try to help you.